Hey guys, how are you? This is Mr. Argueta coming to you week number 3. Let me just put that in my ear here. So I got a couple things for you. First and foremost, I appreciate everybody and all their hard work and effort. Wanted to get this video out as soon as possible because I got a pretty busy upcoming week and wanted to make sure I got this video to you so you can respond to as soon as you open up your work on week number 3. So let's talk a little bit about what happened last week, and then we're going to review what's coming up this week. And of course, I'll give you a sneak peek at what to expect for week 4. All right, so last week, week 2, which is the one you just finished off, we had a couple of good conversations. I appreciate the responses being done early because that gives us opportunity to sort of read everyone else's thoughts on the discussion, and it was really based on the ethical perspective that you most lean towards. And several people came up with, obviously some people leaned towards a utilitarian perspective, which would allow you the opportunity to evaluate the most benefit to the most people. And if you strictly use that as your ethical perspective for that decision, based on the information that you had, you lean toward utilitarian and you said, I'm going to benefit 10 families versus one. I feel terrible about it, but I'm going to turn left. And then some of you leaned towards what would we consider to be a universalism or deontological ethics perspective, which is basically a higher moral sort of standard. And you said, there's no way I can do that to a child. And essentially you said, I'm going to kill the 10 adults because they've lived their life. And some of you even reasoned through that process and said, well, these are 10 adults. I don't know why they're on the track, but they shouldn't be on the track, and they should have the ability to help one another and get off the track and have the understanding. And you came to that assumption to help you reason why you would you wouldn't kill the child. So you said, I'm going to kill the adults because it's their fault. So it's interesting how some of you use that sort of assumption to come to that conclusion and make that decision. So here's a couple things I want you to know. Nobody is right and nobody is wrong. This is ethics. This is how you make the decision, why you choose what you choose, the decisions you make, and why you make them. It's important to understand that so you can have an understanding on why things are decided the way they are. I'm not judging the decision as right or wrong, or making a decision to be right or wrong. It's just how. So we're not trying to deep dive into this. You're simply giving you the information and understanding that ethics plays a role in your decision making process. So a couple of things I want you to dig into in your own time. And this isn't, once it's over, if I can spark the interest of you to learn more, then I did my job as an instructor, as a professor. If I can make you go, man, that's interesting. For some of my deontological ethics perspectives and universal ethic perspective, some of you might base it based upon the fact that you feel and have a faith that tells you that there is a higher power, a God, if you may, dictating these rules and these sort of moral concepts and compasses, which I respect highly. I respect if you do have that. So here's a challenge to you. The question I used to ask in my ethics class was, is it ever okay to lie? Is lying ever okay? And my deontological or my universalist ethical perspective people will immediately say no. It's never okay to lie. And then in that class, I would say to those people, raise your hand if you think it's not okay to lie, ever okay to lie. Honesty is the best policy, all that good stuff. And they raise their hand and I say, okay, now, do you have children? They say, yes. I said, have you ever lied to your children? And then the story starts to change. And they'll say, well, no, I try to be as honest as I can with my children. Then I say, do you tell your children that Santa Claus is real? Do you tell them that the tooth fairy is real? Do you tell them that all these other things are real? And they, oh, well, that's different. Well, that's a lie. So how do you reason that? And I'm not trying to put you in a position where you go, I got you. That's not the purpose of that. The purpose of it is really for you to analyze what you really believe. So if you have that faith-based belief, then to solidify that to why you believe that. So some people will say, well, it's because it's a commandment in the Bible, and I respect that, and that's good. So here's the question then. In the Bible, Joshua sent out spies to spy the land, and there was a woman. Her name was it slips my mind right now. Anyhow, there was a woman in the Bible that basically lied. She lied to her government. She lied to the officials of her where she lived, and she was hiding these spies in her house to spare their lives. And the government knocked on her door. She opened the door and she said, "Do you have these spies? Have you seen them?" And she said, "No, I do not. I have not seen them." It was a blatant lie. So in the Bible, of course, we assume that lying is wrong. And it says in several scriptures that, do not bear false witness of others. And that was a false witness. So how then do we justify that? How do you then say, well, she was wrong, but then God blessed her? Because God then later on blessed her. So I challenge you to seek that answer for yourself. I'm not going to tell you what I believe. That's not the purpose of the conversation. The purpose is to challenge your belief in that. I'm not trying to make you doubt your belief, but to look at why. What's the purpose of that? So anyhow, that's what we talked about last week in regards to ethical perspectives. And I appreciate many of you have already posted and done your replies and done everything. That's excellent. So for those of you who have yet to do that, it is now Sunday, about 11:42 a.m. when I'm making this video. And I noticed there's some students that have yet to post their initial post or do their work. So I understand that some of you have been working and this is your weekend to do your work. So that's understandable. But if there's an opportunity to do it early, do it early. You do not want to fall behind in this class or in any 8-week class because it goes so fast. All right. So let's move on to this week. So this week, we actually go into a business concept when it comes to your management classes that we look at in business called a SWOT analysis. So week 3 focuses on the basic steps in a planning process, the strategic planning process. And in that, it describes the management process and the importance of what's called a SWOT analysis. So a SWOT analysis, SWOT, stands for a strength and weakness, and those are the focuses within an organization or even within yourself. And then the O and the T in the SWOT is the opportunities and threats externally, outside of the environment of a business or yourself. So I will give you an example of how to do a very basic, very flash SWOT analysis. So I grab a company such as GNTC, our school, and I am in the process of expanding or looking for opportunities or looking how do we develop this, or maybe you just want to know where you stand in your environment. So a business or in an organization is not a standalone sort of thing. It's involved in an external environment, right? Outside of us, we have an environment. Many times I use the example of what I consider to be a taco truck, like a taco business, right? A taqueria. Say, for example, I want to start a taco truck and then I have the money to buy the truck and I have the resources and I do a SWOT analysis and I say, what is the strength? What am I bringing that does not exist in the industry right now? And in my case, let's say I'm going to make the best quality tacos available, right? I'm not just going to find the cheapest meat. I'm going to find the best prime steaks. I'm going to find a prime chicken. I'm going to find the most quality driven ingredients, the best tomatoes and onions and the quality avocados. I'm not just going to find the cheapest, but the most quality, because I believe that quality will stand out. And I'm going to put effort and energy and be purposeful in my ingredients, right? And that's my strength. My strength is that I have these ingredients that no one else has. Everyone else does these cheap steak and cheap chicken and cheap and whatever, because they're going to sell their taco for 99 cents on Tuesdays. Well, I'm not going to follow that model. I'm going to change it. And my strength is internal, right? Plus, I have years of experience in making tacos, and maybe I have a special recipe that I use from my great 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 grandmother or something like that, right? And that's my strength. What is my weakness? My weakness is probably, it's always internal. The first two are internally. My weakness is that I don't have a standalone business, that I am getting you. My name is not recognized. Nobody knows about me. I'm new to this area. So those are some things, some challenges I have to overcome. So those are some of my weaknesses. And then what are some of the opportunities? Some of the opportunities, remember, opportunities and threats are external in the environment in which I'm at. Some of the opportunities is if I were to start that taco truck in Calhoun, Georgia, there's nothing like that here. There's no quality tacos in this area. Now, I'm sure some of you guys from Calhoun are going to argue with me and say, no, Taco House is great. It's okay. There's way better tacos at other places. But I believe that the environment externally gives me an opportunity because there's nothing like it in this area. But let's say I wanted to do it in Dalton. Well, there's better tacos in Dalton. There's several taquerias in Dalton that have quality tacos. So I might not have the audience's attention in that environment. But maybe Rome. Rome is a bigger city. I can move my taqueria. And some of the opportunities that I have is that since I'm a taco truck, I can move to different areas versus if I open up a standalone store, I'm stuck there. So what are some of the threats? Some of the threats is that people might not want tacos here. Maybe in Calhoun, you have to have a chicken or a barbecue place or a burger place to be successful. Maybe the audience in Calhoun don't care for tacos, but they do in Dalton or in Rome, where there's a larger Latino population or more exploring. People have a bigger palate, so they explore different foods. But what if I went to Eton, where there's a population of 2 people or something like that? I probably won't be successful. That's a threat to my business. So this analyzation of the environment and your position allows you to better identify what's the best strategy to take in a business. So this is one, and you'll find hundreds of these type. Pestel talks about the political environment and the environmental environment, and you analyze these situations to better position yourself. So how do you use this, and what do you do in this discussion? You pick a company you know, and you create your own SWOT analysis. You do a SWOT analysis. Please, guys, I want to forewarn you because this has happened in the past. Do not just Google SWOT analysis, copy and paste it, because it's going to flag you as plagiarism. It's going to say this isn't your original work. So please put some effort to this. Do not just copy and paste from the internet. You're going to get flagged, and that is illegal. That's wrong. You're going to get kicked out of the class. Do not plagiarize. So I forewarned you. So take that as any warning. Do your own work. Create your own theme. Take advantage of this opportunity to learn this information. It would be useful in the real world. All right. So that's that. So we reviewed last week. We took a look at this week. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is next week. So I want to prepare you because next week we have our midterm. So you will be doing 2 chapters of work like you have been. Like I said, do not fall behind because it's very, very hard to pass this class if you fall behind. But next week, you'll have 2 chapters worth of work, chapter 7 and chapter 8, and your midterm. What to expect on your midterm. There are questions that you have already seen in your weekly quizzes. So the midterm is posed of questions which have already been given to you in your weekly quizzes. So that's your midterm. So keep that in mind. Make sure you keep that in mind for your final because it's the same setup. You'll have one shot at it. You're going to get one opportunity to do it. You have one opportunity to do your midterm. It is open for the week and then it closes. I do not have extensions. I've already mentioned this before. I do not offer any extensions or late work. I don't do that. So the only thing I allow you to do, which I think is fair, because remember on your syllabus, I explained this, 30% of your overall grade is your discussion. I read every single one of them. And that's why I have to go now and I'm reading through finishing week 1. I should be able to grade it by the time this week is over. So by today, I should be able to grade your week 1 discussion because I read every one of them. So make sure you keep that in mind. Don't just use that as an opportunity to put in a 1-sentence reply. You will not be graded for that. So discussions are 30% of your grade. So think about it this way. Every week you get one discussion. One, right? There's 7 weeks in this course. And week 4, next week, I will not give you a discussion. So in total, you might have 6 discussions. So 30% is based on 6 discussions. In your assignments, which is your tests and your homework and all of that, there's 6 of them per week. And that's 30% of your grade. So missing one test, one weekly exam is not going to impact your grade as much as one discussion is going to greatly impact your grade. So you want to make sure you put effort and time into your discussions, because one test that's, every week, it's not that much. It's not that big of a deal. But one discussion, that's going to hurt you. So please make sure you focus on your discussions. All right. I think that's about it. What else do I got for you guys? Nothing else, guys. It's Sunday. I'm trying to catch up on some stuff because I'll be traveling tomorrow and then returning Tuesday. So it looked that I wouldn't be able to do anything till Wednesday, and I didn't want to leave you guys till Wednesday waiting for this video. Then after that, the following week, it's going to get crazy. I'll be doing some corporate trainings for a company out of Calhoun. I'll be training on leadership, and then I'll be doing what's called the Shaw Language Academy on Tuesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday is pretty much shot for me, and I didn't want to penalize you guys in waiting for my video. So I want to make sure I get this out to you as soon as possible. Other than that, it's been great reading your posts. A lot of interesting people out there, a lot of interesting concepts and thoughts. I appreciate the interaction. It's been very, very well received. I've seen a lot of people responding to each other, so I just want to encourage you to do that. And of course, I haven't fully graded all your papers, so I don't want to mislead anybody and saying all of this is accurate, but I do want to call out a couple people for your hard work. So Hannah, you've been doing an amazing job. We got Jennifer and Laura, Beth, Emily, who else we have? Shoshana. Oh, Shoshana, I was going to mention this. Shoshana, I know you call yourself something else, maybe Elizabeth, but Shoshana, I have a nurse named Shoshana from Jamaica, so I thought that was so interesting to see your name pop up. Jocelyn, Megan, Misty, Casey with a YKYCE. All of you guys are doing great. You're rolling in the top 10 of my students, so I want to shout out to you. Keep doing the hard work. Keep putting in the time. I appreciate you guys, and just thank you for all your efforts. Other than that, guys, it's been hot out there these last couple of days. My wife told me today it's going to be about 90 degrees, so I haven't been out there yet. I have had my cup of coffee. So today, since I'm at home, I use the Keurig. I don't have the Nespresso machine here. So what I do is I use one called Bustelo, which is a Caribbean blend. It's a coffee. I want to say it's from Puerto Rico. If it's not from Puerto Rico, it's from Cuba or one of those islands. But it's a very popular Cuban blend. You can find it at Kroger. I put in a couple of creamers. I use what's called monk sugar. I wanted a couple years ago, wanted to reduce my sugar intake just in general. I don't deal with any sugar issues like diabetes, but I wanted to reduce my sugar intake. and I didn't like the generic sugars like Splenda and all those sugars. It tasted really chemically to me. So I found a natural sweetener called Monk, Monk. So every semester I mention it, and I have 10 or 15 students say, "Where do you get that from?" And I literally buy it from, like, in my case, it's like Food City here in town. But it's in like an orange packet. It's called Monk Sugar. It's a natural sweetener. It's not as sweet as sugar, but I use that to sweeten my coffee just a little and creamer, and I love it. Every now and then I get to do like a regular sugar thing, and I find it very sweet now, so I tend not to drink that coffee. But that's my coffee tip for the day, guys. Many coffee drinkers amongst us. I love the recommendations. Cup of Nuts, I heard that one. There was another one that you guys recommended called the Rifle, I think Black Rifle Company. Very good coffee, apparently. What else? Some people have recommended a few other ones. All right, so let me just say the Dunkin' Donuts recommendation. There is a person that works at Dunkin' Donuts. I guess if I worked there, I would drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but on average, I think it's too light. It's too much of a mild, a medium brew for me. I like a little stronger brew of coffee. For my iced coffee drinkers, yes, thank you for all the recommendations on iced coffee. I do every now and then have iced coffee at Starbucks. I don't make it at home because I can't get the right strength in it, but I do like some iced coffee. And that's about it. Other than that, I encourage you guys to enjoy the rest of the weekend. Go out there and try to get out some steps in and take care of yourselves. Make sure everyone's taking care of themselves. And that's about it, guys. I wish you the very best. You know how to get a hold of me. If you need me, email. If not, take care. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.